The third and final day of the NFL draft has come and gone for the Chicago Bears. So now it is time to look at their draft picks from rounds 3 through 7. What is going on, y'all? FaizSportsTalk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to analyze the draft picks that the Bears had between rounds 3 through 7. Before I get into that, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe. It helps me out a lot when you support the channel. I'm bringing the best Bears content around, and follow me on my social media, guys. Links down below and on screen for my Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. With that being said, let's get into it. So as mentioned previously, I've already given my thoughts and analysis on the Bears' 2 second-round picks in Cole Kmet and Jalen Johnson. You guys can go check out my recent video for my thoughts on that. In this video, I'm only going to give you guys my thoughts on rounds 3 through 7 and who the Bears took there. And interestingly enough, the Bears really didn't even have a 3rd-round pick or 4th-round pick. They started in the 5th round, and the reason why is because the Raiders got our 3rd-round pick in the Khalil Mack trade, and the Patriots got our 4th-round pick in the David Montgomery trade. So with that being said, let's take a look at who the Bears drafted. And you know what? I even thought about, doing an individual video for each of the picks. But you know what? I was like, maybe that's overkill. And let me just wait till the entire draft is done and give you guys my thoughts on all of them together. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here we go. On my board here, I've got all the picks here for the Bears. Now, again, there's a lot here, but hang with me. I'll walk you guys through it. Let's get through the picks first. So the Bears in the 5th round, I believe they traded with the Vikings for this pick. At 155, they took defensive end Travis Gibson from Tulsa. Okay, in the 5th round again, 163, they took cornerback Kindle Vildor from Georgia Southern. And then again in the 5th round, at number 173, they took Darnell Mooney from Tulsa, the wide receiver. 7th round, both 7th-round picks, they took offensive line help with offensive tackle Arlington Hambright and offensive tackle Latavius Simmons. Okay, so these were the Bears picks from rounds 3 through 7. And at the bottom, you see right here, I kind of have a little area for where I say needs met, because the Bears had pressing positions going into the draft. What were the pressing positions? Tight end help. We got that in Cole Kmet. Wide receiver, they took a wide receiver in Darnell Mooney. Cornerback, they took 1 or 2 in Jalen Johnson and Kindle Vildor. Safety, did not draft one. Now, again, they could address it maybe an undrafted free agency, but they didn't draft one. And then offensive line help, they did draft offensive line in the last 7th round. 2 of them, okay? So, with that being said, that is who the Bears drafted. And now let's give you guys a little bit of context and details on each of these picks and my thoughts, obviously, on all of them. So, we'll start with the first pick, defensive end Travis Gibson out of Tulsa. He had a 3rd-round grade. Bears took him in the 5th round, so that's obviously a good thing. That's per Pro Football Focus, a raw but very explosive athlete. And here's my thing with this pick. The Bears did not need a defensive end. Obviously, we know that. We've got our clear starters in Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. So it looks like the Bears just strengthened an already strong position. That's fine. But we could have gotten a need at a more pressing position, such as safety or offensive line help. So I wasn't a fan of that, I'll be honest with you guys. A little bit more detail here on the pick. I'll give you guys a grade that NFL.com gives for each of these picks on a scale of 1 to 8, basically. 8 is a perfect prospect. I believe the highest grade this year was Chase Young, was number 2 overall pick. And so from that scale, Travis Gibson got a 6.22, which is basically boom or bust. So again, that is probably what he's going to be for the Chicago Bears. He's obviously going to learn from 2 of the greats in Mack and Quinn, but again, I just feel like they could have gotten a safety. I feel like they could have gotten an offensive line help. And because we didn't really need a defensive end, that's why I'm not the biggest fan here. But again, from everything I've seen and read, it looks like Travis Gibson is going to be a good player in the NFL. So let's move on to Kindle Vildor, the cornerback from Georgia Southern. Again, we already drafted a cornerback, and the Bears took another one. His scouting report, average speed, but good athletic ability with solid man coverage, talent. Again, mixed reviews, per Football Focus. One thing he's bad at, ineffective at tackling. His grade, 5.93. Okay, 5.93 out of 8. Backup. That's his grade. Okay, and it makes sense, right? We've got our starter in Kyle Fuller, possibly our starting opposite Kyle Fuller and Jalen Johnson now. And now, obviously, we're going to add to that with Kindle Vildor. So we know that he's not going to be the starter here. And so he is just back up here. And so, again, same thing here. The Bears, instead of going for another position of need, they went with BPA. Again, is BPA, which is best player available, bad? Not always, but sometimes I just feel like you gotta go with where you can play the guys. Okay, if I draft somebody that's really good, but I can't play him, what's the point? You know what I mean? So again, injuries could happen. Sure, these guys can get their shots, but I just felt like the Bears again could have went after a position of need. So the first two picks, right off the bat, the Bears went at positions that they had already addressed. Okay, so wasn't too happy about that. Moving on to the third, fifth round pick in Darnell Mooney. Now, this pick I'm excited about. I love this pick. The Bears had a clear need for a wide receiver, a third wide receiver, really, behind Allen Robinson and Anthony Miller. And I know we have guys like Riley Ridley and Juwan Wims, but we needed a guy that was a burner, a speed receiver, and that is what Darnell Mooney is. He's a great, fast speed receiver, a 5.8 grade, which is a backup, which is fine, again. But he can line up on the inside, outside. I mean, he can take the top off a defense, and that is what I love about him. He was one of the sleepers, I believe, from Pro Football Focus and a couple of these other sites. So I love this pick. This pick, I love it because we needed a speed wide receiver. So I love that. One bad thing, though, 13% of catchable passes he did drop. So he does have a little bit of a drop issue. But again, if he can get behind the defense, and he can, look out. So love that pick. No issues there. And now let's move on to the 2 7th round offensive linemen. The first one, Arlington Hambright from Colorado. He played all his snaps at left tackle. This guy was not ranked. So again, in the 7th round, it's going to be a shot in the dark. It makes sense, right? A couple stats for you guys real quick. On 475 pass blocking snaps, he allowed 1 sack, 2 hits, 11 hurries. So decent, obviously, production there. You like seeing that. And then the other offensive lineman, Latavius Simmons, he was also not ranked. He's played left guard and right guard. And he allowed 1 sack, 3 hits, 11 hurries on 457 pass blocking snaps. So again, you like that as well. So to me, overall, when I take a look at all these picks here, it looks like the Bears went BPA a little more than I would have liked. I would have liked them to address more positions of need. I wish they went offensive line help earlier than later. So I wasn't a fan of that. They did address wide receiver with speed. I like that. They added to a position of need, which we really didn't, obviously need as much in defensive end and corner again. So wasn't a fan of that. But again, back to the board here. Coming out of the draft, we had 5 positions of need. People are going to say quarterback, which I'll get to in a second. We had 5 positions of need. The Bears met 4 of them. So you have to be happy about that. So overall, it's a mixed bag. What can I say? It's a mixed bag for the Bears with this draft. So that is how I feel about it. And now I will say one thing. Where FST was right. Everybody thought the Bears were going to take a quarterback. I told you guys, I didn't see it. The Bears were not going to take a quarterback. We hitched our wagon already to Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky, and that is what's going to happen. So I told you guys that don't expect the Bears to take a quarterback, and they did not. And also, obviously, when we traded away Trey Burton, now it felt like we were going to take a tight end, which we obviously did in the 2nd round in Cole Kmet. But overall, the Bears did meet most of their needs. They did do that, okay? I just showed you. But I did feel like they still went after positions that we were already strong at. And I wish they kind of went after positions that we're weak at earlier. Offensive line help in the 7th round. I mean, it's a shot in the dark. You really don't even expect 7th round picks to even sometimes make the roster. So to me, I wish the Bears looked at it like that, but so be it. That is what we have here. And so let me know what you guys think about this. So overall, I mean, if I had to give rounds 3 through 7, or really 5 through 7 grades, I'd probably give the Bears a C. I'll be honest with you guys, a C plus around there, and some needs met, some not. That's just how I feel about it. But let me know what you guys think about the Bears draft picks from rounds 3 through 7. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.